In this day and age, there's so many things that we can do to waste our money or to spend it on things that have little or no value to us. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over 7 things that I refuse to do with my money. Now, the very first thing is I refuse to let other people dictate what I do with the money that I earn. We all pretty much know someone that'll say, hey, you need to spend your money on this, or you need to go do X, Y, and Z, because if you don't, then you're going to regret it later on in life. We all know somebody like that, right? And to an extent, they may or may not be wrong. But here's where the issue plays in it for me. I am going to spend my money on the things that matter most to me. And in my last video, I talked a little bit about value-based spending. And essentially what value-based spending is that you're setting aside money that you can allocate to the things that matter the most to you. So if you like fine dining, spend money on fine dining. If you like going shopping for clothes or shoes, then you go do that. Don't let what's important to somebody else dictate what you do with your money. The second thing that I refuse to do with my money is loan it to family and friends. Now, on the surface, that might seem a little harsh because you don't want to be seen as selfish. You don't want to be seen as not willing to help people. But the fact of the matter is money has a funny way of ruining relationships. So many people have stories of family members that they no longer talk to, friends that they don't talk to anymore, all because money that was loaned out, it was never paid back. So my philosophy on this is if you ask me to borrow money, I'm going to tell you, no, you can't borrow it, but here you can have it. There's no expectation to pay me back, which means it has zero chance of ruining the relationship. Because if you give something as a gift, there's no expectation for you to get that back. The third thing that I refuse to do with my money is to spend more than I earn. Seems so simple, right? But so many people fail this part of the exam, so to speak. We get paid, we go out, we buy the things that we want, we spend money on the things that we need, and sometimes you end up with more month and not enough money. And then what happens is you have to supplement your lifestyle by using credit cards. You do that over a 5 or a 10-year period, it's easy to see how someone can be in $40, $50, $60,000 worth of credit card debt, and then they look back and they realize they have no idea what they spent that money on. So when it comes to not doing certain things with my money, spending more money than I earn is not something that I'm going to do. The fourth thing that I refuse to do with my money is leaving it anywhere where it does not multiply and make more money for me. So even if I have a 2-month or a 3-month emergency fund, that's going to be in a high yield savings account. It's going to be earning me as much interest as possible. But the rest of the income that I have is always going to be in a place where it's going to be invested, whether that's in the stock market, whether that's in a money market account or whatever. Whenever I was younger, I kept all of my money just in a regular savings account, not even a high yield account. And now that I look back at it, it was just a lost opportunity because that money could have been multiplying at a much faster rate than just getting that 0.5% in my savings account. The fifth thing that I'm not doing with my money is I'm not gonna go for cheap over quality. Now, I'll be the first to admit, when I was younger, if there were 2 options, one was quality, one was cheap, I'd go with one that had the better price. Now I've gotten older. That's not something I'm willing to bend on. I'd rather pay more money up front for something that has a higher quality and that will last me a longer period of time than to buy something cheap that ultimately ends up failing and I have to replace multiple times. Now, my wife and I, we have a tendency to buy things. We keep them for the long term. And a majority of the things that we own, we've owned for over 10 plus years. So when it comes to making a decision on buying something that's quality, even though it's a little bit pricier, that's something that I'm absolutely going to be doing. The next thing that I'm not going to be doing with my money is forgetting that it's a tool and not something that you love. Now, a lot of times when I'm having these conversations with you guys, the things that I'm thinking about talking about whenever I have these walks, it's all things that have happened to me in my past. In a previous video, I talked about how growing up, not having much, at least for me, it changed how I viewed money. Because when I first started getting money, it was something that I wanted to hoard. I didn't want to spend it. I didn't have an abundance mindset. And that's probably why I ended up leaving my money in a savings account and not really thinking about investing, because I was always afraid that the money would go away and never come back. But whenever you think about money as being a tool, something to be used to help you multiply your money, or a tool to buy back your time, then that's when things really start to change for you. So from a mindset perspective, when you think about it as a tool, not something that you love, then I think that's whenever you really start to understand how to grow your money. So when we talk about investing in my $100,000 portfolio challenge, that's one of the things that I want you guys to keep in mind. You're using that money as a tool to invest in your future self. The seventh thing that I refuse to do is to believe that you should be waiting for a perfect time to invest your money. We all know someone that says, man, I'm gonna wait to buy a house until interest rates drop. I'm gonna wait to invest in this particular position until it pulls back by 50%, because I've been told that you don't invest at the top of the market, you only invest when it pulls all the way back, then only to come back a year later and say, oh man, I had an opportunity to invest in that particular position and now it's went up an additional 50%. On my channel, I often talk about not trying to time the market of a particular investment, and that can be whatever you're investing in. If you're waiting for the perfect time to invest or start a business or whatever you want to do, that time's never going to come. Sometimes you have to start messy. Sometimes you have to start dirty. Sometimes you just have to start and build it while you fly it. It took me a little bit longer to really understand that, but once I did, things started to take off. All right, so what do you guys think about the 7 things that I just refused to do with my money? I'd be curious to hear what are some of the things that you guys refuse to do with your money. Leave a comment down below and let me know.